She got locked, Rastafari. Me my walk one at the party. You don't put none.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is now 9:22, and welcome to our open forum, or Talk to Me If You May, where we allow you to call and we talk about anything that you want to talk about this morning. The number to call is 457-9997. Also, the number to WhatsApp, 457-9997. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at WeFM 99 SVG. So this morning, joining us is the whole ensemble, myself, Rolisa, and Christal.
After you've been here by yourself the whole time.
After I've been here all alone in the dark.
I'm sorry.
5 hours, just me in the cold.
Just one. My microphone's on.
And these are my stories.
Yeah?
It's on. It's on. Sounds low.
Yeah, it does sound low.
Okay, sounds normal now.
Oh, sounds normal now?
Yes.
I know you're with mine, so yeah.
So earlier this week, I saw a post by Adrian Udall on Facebook, and it read, "Marrying into a family that loves you is extremely important." Now, there was a bit of a debate in the comment section, and I'm curious to know, what do you guys think about it?
Say it again and slowly.
Marrying into a family that loves you is extremely important.
So it was like a repost from this page called Poems. Yeah. I'm not sure if I can read the second word, but
okay.
I find it to be rather interesting because I could see like several sides to this. Marrying into a family that loves you is extremely important. I think it's not as important as the love that you should have or the relationship between you and that person. I don't think the family loving you should matter or should influence whether or not you choose somebody as your mate for life.
Is this important to me? I probably don't think so. I really couldn't business if they like me, yes or no. What it is that I would expect is that he respects me, right? I would also expect that if it ever comes down to a particular situation, that he defends me. Now, I'm not necessarily saying defend me in doing something that's it as wrong. That's
why he emphasizes on he, why not she? It's 2024.
Because it's me you're talking about. It has to be a he. Okay? Not because we've been having a particular conversation since yesterday. Don't try that with me.
Please continue.
Is how he likes stupidness?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I would expect him to respect me and to defend me. But I don't necessarily think that I need to get the approval of his family members. And I don't think that that's important to me. I just don't want for it to cause tension between us. And if I see, even in the stages of, even before getting married, if it's causing tension, then more than likely I am going to walk away from that relationship because I can see how it could balloon or mushroom into a bigger issue later on. So, yeah.
So, I'm actually for the post, and I made a comment under it, and someone messaged me privately, and I'm going to read that message. It says, "I could write a book on what I went through with my husband's family. They even told him to do a DNA for the baby and to be careful with his house. House is a lot of Vinci people problem. So they find all kind of things to say about me, and so we keep out of their way." Now, I personally feel like it's something that we should strive, and that is to have a relationship with the family of our partner. Now, I also do think that them having a relationship with their family also is important, and it speaks volumes. But I can also acknowledge that family members are people also, and in every interactions with all different people will have disagreements, and people there would be cases when people not speaking to each other, and that happens a lot in family. So it's not a necessity for me, but I do think that people should strive for it. Me personally, in most of the relationships that I've been in, I've had a good relationship with their direct family, mother, father, grandmother, even stepfather, sometimes stepmother, because I think it's a lot more peaceful than to have that relationship. There isn't that element of negativity coming directly within your partner's household when you have a good relationship with the family. And I do think that it does promote a healthier relationship between you and your partner, knowing that both sides of the fence, we're all on the same page.
I beg to differ. Because to some extent I see it as disrespect. If this gentleman chooses me as his life mate, then I think that if you love him enough and you respect him enough, you would respect his decision and not try to willfully do things to separate us. And you see the thin line between, if it is that you see certain toxic traits, I mean, eventually that's his problem and that's my problem too. You really should keep out of our relationship and not try to break it apart, because I feel like that's just not your place to do. I don't think necessarily that I have to go out of my way to try to
gain their acceptance.
Gain their acceptance. I'm not here to please your family. I respect your family. I respect their views. I respect their property. Respect should go both ways. I'm not gonna go out of my way to people please because I'm not sleeping with them. I'm not married to them. I'm married to you. And I respect the fact that it makes things easier when everybody's like all happy-go-lucky and everybody likes one another. But it's not always going to happen that way with the partner. So it's just respect.
And that's why I made the point of respect, because, there are some situations where a mother-in-law may have wanted a particular young lady for their son, right? I may not necessarily have fit that mold. I may not necessarily have been the one who she would have wanted. However, it was his decision to choose me, right? When he gets married to me, I'm not saying that he's not supposed to listen to his mother. I'm not saying that he's supposed to disrespect his mother, but he has chosen me. So if you have chosen me, then the things that your mother or your family members would say, you have to know how to compartmentalize that. You have to know how to separate that and not bring that on to me.
So, sorry. Just to add to that, right? There are some folks who would prioritize likability by the family so much that they overlook the red flags in their own relationship. Like you make it like such an important factor that you forget about everything else, and you feel like you love that other person when you really don't. You just love the acceptance by the family, and you love how the family makes you feel, but you don't really love the person.
I would always say that advice isn't instructions. When someone advises you, and in some cases, some families will tell you, no, don't bring that person. But if someone advises you and they tell you, listen, I don't think that this person is the person for you, or I think you should go this particular way, it is just food for thought. It's not an instruction. You should not go by whatever somebody else says. You should just keep it in the back of your mind. Use it to add to your logic, but it should not be the definitive factor whether or not you have the relationship.
But this is the thing. It depends on your mindset as the man, in terms of, because there are some men out there, especially, man or woman, right? I'm not talking about the man, them, that there are some gentlemen who, especially if they've been raised by, let's say, a single mother, they've been an only child or whatever, right? Who hold their mother's opinions in high esteem, right? It's difficult for them sometimes to separate. And to be honest, there are some mothers who act as though they don't want for their son to necessarily break away from them. They don't want another female influence in their son's life, right? So there are instances where a man is going to, and yes, I know it goes both ways, but hear me out. I'm talking from my perspective, right? Where a man is going to value the opinion of his mother over mine. But for me, if I am seeing these things in the dating stages, it's absolutely no way I'm going to get married to that person, because I know it's going to be problems later on in the relationship. So, as Christal said, there are things that we're going to see or detect that are going to be red flags. And if you choose to ignore the red flags, you're just going to have to put up with the consequences in a marriage.
But Christal, you have a son. You're going to accept anybody that your son bring home?
Any female? What happened?
Yeah, on the road today, boy. Wow.
Really on the road today.
Did I say something? Whenever that time comes and my son brings home a young lady, I'm going to have to, even if I don't like, maybe I may not like her spirit, but at the end of the day, this is my son's life. This is his decision, and I'm going to have to accept it. Whether or not I am for who the person is, it really shouldn't matter. Here's another twist to it, right? So the family loves this person, but the relationship is in shambles, right? And the gentleman or lady wants to end the relationship, and he seeks advice from his family. But because the family loves this person, they're encouraging them to stay with the partner. Or he or she finds it difficult to end the relationship because he doesn't want to break apart the relationship that this person has with their family. Doesn't it make it more difficult?
Or what about situations where they loved the daughter-in-law from the previous relationship, and now you come into the picture and you're like,
you're not.
I prefer the other one.
I've been that person.
They call you Shelly.
You give up a nice sweet chocolate.
Whatever. Move it, Christal. You were saying.
But remember, the program is interactive. The number to call 457-9997. Also, the number to WhatsApp 457-9997. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. WEFM 99SVG. Go.
You said right. No, I forget what you say. I forgot what the point was.
Why for you is this so important, though, Ari?
Why it is important? Because I feel like in your relationship, you're already two different people coming together to form one, in a sense. And you're going to have your own trials and tribulations as individuals, learning another individual. I do not want the additional stress of having more negativity into said relationship. Now,
but if they just don't like you,
I never had that experience, right?
So if they just don't like you, let's put it out there.
If they just don't like me, I don't know. If I have a lot of respect for older people, for elderly people, I feel like they're knowledgeable. They already been here on the earth, so they already know what it is that they would like for you. Now, you're not, as I say, that's advice. You don't have to follow that exact mold. You don't have to follow that exact mold. But if it is that you saw that, okay, this is was my experience in life, this is what I would like for my son if I believe that he's going to have, for him to have a successful relationship. If I see certain traits in a young lady, then I would know, okay, this is a young lady for my son. But I lost my straight of thought, But what has been my experience is like it is a lot easier when when their family welcomes you. Now, a relationship that I was in, the mother, father, stepfather, grandparents had welcomed me into the family. And it made things a lot easier in terms of us being able to see each other, us going out on dates, us attending events as a couple. And any issue that was had was an internal issue. And it's not like they were involved in the relationship, but they were still present in a supportive manner, if that makes sense. And that is the relationship that I prefer. I prefer having no issues with the family and more peace in my relationship. Now, that is not the case across the board. I do understand that some families are just difficult. Some people are just difficult because they're humans and they want to force their life onto their children. That's a whole different topic. But I personally believe that we should strive to have a good relationship across the board with the family members of your in-laws.
How do you ascertain when somebody is being controlling? Because you said they can give advice and they can tell you X, Y, Z, but you don't have to take it. But the moment you don't listen to them and you don't accept you respect their views, but you don't do what they say, they're gonna get upset and in turn not like your decision. Like, how do you deal with something like that? And then at the end of the day, possibly having to choose between your spouse and your family.
No, then at that point, right, the relationship between you and your family is important. Because I remember there was someone that I was dating and my mother did not approve.
Wow, with me and the
she-
mother-in-law.
the thing is, right, when you the person lived in New York, when you lived in New York and it's winter, you're wearing layers and layers of clothes. So when summer comes as a young lady, you're going to wear less clothes. Now that's the culture in New York. My mother saw that as a Vincentian mother, and she said, "That is your girlfriend with the rest of she clothes there. I can't support you dating somebody who don't know how to carry herself like that." But
And you
my-
continue dating Shina.
yeah, I continue
So that's the
dating her.
difference.
But
That's the
that's what I was
difference.
going to. That's what I was going to. My mother didn't make it a final point. It's either you stop talking to this girl or you no longer have a relationship with me. She just mentioned her disapproval for this, for her disdain for the way that she carried herself, but she didn't make it a definitive factor in our relationship, and she didn't order me to remove myself from that situation.
Could she have?
That's a very interesting question. That is a very, very interesting question. I feel like I
Sleep
feel
on
like
it.
I would sit and have a
Sleep on
conversation with her, and I feel like we would have come to some sort of agreement. But I don't think my mother is the type of person, and my relationship with my mother isn't the type of person where she will dictate who exactly I should date.
So I think that is the point, because your mother made the statement once and she probably just let it go.
Mhm.
What about a mother who is going to keep bringing it up?
You guys experience that? I've never experienced that, so I can't speak to it.
Them not like me, I mean not like them. The song
One
just
digital.
coming.
No, I've never no, it's never been that serious for me. No.
I'd much rather not say what my experiences have been.
Okay, well that is also
Sweet.
fine. I'm trying
Mm.
to think. Do I have friends? Do I know of experiences where parents were like, no?
But going forward, like it'll be like the best, absolute best, perfect to be nice and chummy and all lovable with the parents or the family. But if that doesn't happen, I think I'll be cool with it. Just respect me, respect you, respect me, I respect you, whatever. And there be boundaries set and just abided by. Yeah.
I actually have a friend who has a different scenario though. It was a case where his mother actually sided more with his wife. And she caused problem. Well, from his standpoint, his mother caused problems within the relationship because everything she was picking up for the daughter-in-law. They're now at a point where they're getting divorced. It was that serious.
Oh,
You know, so
no.
you know,
That
I think
sounds like don't intervene in my relationship. See?
yeah, and
But
he
that-
actually had a big
He
blow
lives
with
in
his
St.
mother.
Vincent?
No.
I find out something that's common in America and Canada.
No, it's in
and
the
UK.
Caribbean still. It's in the Caribbean. He
Oh.
still the Caribbean. But,
I don't know. I find there's something common overseas, but I don't know of a lot of those cases where the mother-in-law says, "Yeah, nah, don't do this at all."
yeah.
But you see, the thing about that too, right? Sometimes they're able to see certain things, like your blind spots.
Exactly.
Right? How do
But
you know?
pick up and defending the daughter every single time. You know, I think that is probably what played on him.
Never had.
That is what played on him.
Was it his
because
mother or her mother?
His mother.
Oh,
His mother.
That's on you.
The betrayal.
His mother, right. And that's the thing. They had a big blowout over it. And, you know, he told her, you know, and, you know, this is the thing with parent relationships. I think when you become an adult, you see your parents for maybe who they really are, in a sense, because you're looking at them with adult eyes.
Mature, yeah.
Right. You know, so he had a big blowout with her and he told her, you know what, I'm still here for you as your son, but we do not have a relationship.
Ooh.
You know, because she was instrumental from his standpoint. When I talked to the wife, right? From his standpoint, his mother taken up for the daughter-in-law every time caused the tension between the relationship. It's like he could no longer speak to his wife about things without her going and speaking to the mother-in-law.
But remember, I didn't say it's a definitive thing. I said that we should strive to have a good relationship. But human beings are, we could make errors, and persons will not always agree with each other. It happens. But then, like you guys rightfully said, that's where respect comes into play. Now, if you respect my relationship, you can advise me. But when you started ordering me and commanding certain things, that is when there's going to be problems.
All right, so we have an interesting comment here. Well, it's a question and comment. Are you marrying the family or the person, and why should their opinions matter? People who give the most advice are people who have failed in all aspects of their lives.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. The people who who give the most advice are people who have failed in all aspects of life.
Well, I think sometimes failure helps you to be able to give proper advice to it.
Well,
Because
exactly. But people say
Yeah.
if you don't know, teach, or if you can't do, teach. But there are persons who genuinely want to teach. There are persons who are knowledgeable on a topic and they want to impart that knowledge on others. That is why we have programs such as these. That's why there are podcasts. That is why there are speeches. That's why there are there are TikToks, there social
Talks,
media, TED Talks.
Mm.
People trying to teach other people because they are knowledgeable on the topics. But this topic itself, it's subjective. It really does depend on the persons involved, the relationship you have with those persons, and the relationship you have with your partner. And again, your personality and your partner's personality.
And your background.
Because his mother could have also been going based off of how she knows him to be, and not necessarily how she knows her daughter-in-law to be, and make that decision based on her son's attitude, discounting the fact that he could actually be right in certain situations.
You know, sometimes being with a person and having the family, like, you could actually fill a void.
Yes.
If you don't have that family,
If you
connection
never
with your
had
own,
that,
Yes.
right? You feel a void. It could help, but it could also hurt, because like you could marry somebody who is like not for you.
but keep the family after still.
But it could, like, having that like loving family who likes you could also be like quite healing. So
I could tell you,
you
my
have to know yourself, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my mother lives in the States. Before I went to study, I was here for I think 5 years without anybody.
No.
And whatever. And
Oh, you've been big man long time.
when I got into this relationship and the family welcomed me, it did fill that void. It did. I did have a mother presence, and even now that we've broken up, I still have a good relationship with the family.
Oh,
It's
so you
still speaking with her.
So you the problem. So when she gets
I ain't going to say who is the problem.
when she gets a new boyfriend or husband, they always be like, but he's not like Ari.
You know, it's
Invite
funny.
Ari
Her,
over to the cook.
her grandmother had met me after and say, you guys not together now. She's with this guy, and I don't know how she will give up somebody like you and go pick up this man.
Oh my God, stroke the ego.
Poor Granny ain't been there for everything. Granny was not there for everything.
I'm amazing. I keep telling you guys on this
you
radio
always
program that I am
advertising yourself.
perfect. I am perfect.
Give me a break.
I am perfect. But you're right. It does fill a void, and sometimes some people don't have that parental figure or figures in their life. And then when they lose it on both sides, it's not a nice feeling, and then it could disrupt more into the relationship because they're not happy.
You could easily trauma bond yourself to the person, and you don't even realize it. But
There's also that.
that's like, can I come over? But you ain't coming over for her now. You're going over for the mommy cooking. So what's for dinner? Where's mom's with daddy?
What give me? Cause you know I'm greedy.
No, actually, no. But I throw my corn, right?
And the phone pick it up, so leave it alone.
Pick.
Phone pick it up.
I was not. No way. But yeah, I mean, to each his own. I was looking at a little video the other day. I think it's this Vinci guy was on TikTok talking about, I think it's Chow Minister.
Chowder, yeah.
Yeah, he was saying how everybody's watching social media relationships.
But what he's saying isn't new.
it's not new and it's not wrong either.
Mhm.
So I think it's applicable here. You have to know yourself, know your partner, know your relationship, know the things that you're involved in, and tailor your decisions to suit your specific situation, not just go off like textbook responses and so on. 'Cause
Yeah. And people think that the grass is always green on the other side, but there's a quote that goes, "The grass is greener where you water it." So
water and fertilize and trim.
yeah, so don't look into people relationship, and that's the other thing. Social media persons don't post the negative things on the social media. If they're trying, if they have a couple's page, or they have are they trying to?
I just want to
promote-
know when is it a good time to know when to stop watering. That's all I want to know.
Well, you had to know. You had to know when it's no longer serving you.
It could overwater too.
I know.
Yeah, you have to know when a relationship no
Wrong
longer
already. I just say I
serving you.
just wasted my time.
Hello, some grass is weed, you know.
Hey, hey, pampute. Hey.
Not-
But
I think it's Pampaluti.
nah, it's pampute. Pampulute is when you get in trouble.
Pampute is the
comments.
singer. Pampute is the singer.
What pampute mean? Somebody
Pampute
who's
is a singer.
somebody
It's
who's I nearly say
Pampalute.
old. Somebody no pampalute is when you get hair pampalute. Or
Right.
is it Ray pampute? That's a different thing.
I never heard of Pampaluti.
We look it up. But I know I wanted to say, you have to know when a relationship is no longer serving you, but you need to stop looking at other people's relationship, because a lot of people are acting and a lot of people are only putting forward what you want to see. But people tend to forget that relationship is work, and it's a lot of work, because again, it's two different personalities coming together. And some of these relationships come with other personalities, meaning your
because
children, your baby father, baby
That
mother.
too.
Sometimes some people had a rough childhood and they're now taking care of the parent or the grandparents. These things happen.
Yeah, but that whole relationship thing on social media, I think that's a whole different topic we could expand on,
we could go into it
because
tomorrow on Friday too.
I do have an issue with people looking at others and wanting to emulate them or wanting to be like them, not knowing of what is happening in the background. I think way too many persons idolize other person's relationships, assuming that all is gold. But that's a
Let me
different
start
topic
posting
altogether.
negatives there. To themselves. I'm force myself sleeping outside. Something. You gonna get this true story. Just like what's that girl, that lady on TikTok now who's trending with a 50-part 10-minute
It's 100 or 50.
It's 50-part series. Every video is about 10 minutes long, where she's talking about who beep beep did I marry. Can't remember her name now, but yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the things is as both Ari and Christal have said, and just to echo, you have to know your own relationship. I think you also have to know what it is you can put up with, right? Because my level of tolerance may not be the same as Christal's. I think both of us probably have the same level of tolerance, which is probably a bad thing, but yeah, it go how it go. But you have to know what it is that you're willing to put up with. But I think for me, the greater part of this whole discussion in terms of marrying into a family is that I am going to rest most of this on the spouse who you're with. In my case, it would be on the man, in terms of him knowing how to respect me, him knowing how to separate the opinions or views of his family members, and knowing how to stand up for me, and knowing is it that we are in this together, or is it us and your family members in this together collectively, right? So you just have to know your person. And for me, as I always say, you are going to see certain things before marriage. Do not think that marriage is necessarily going to change or erase all the red flags that you saw before when you were dating. If there's anything, they're probably going to expand them even more, So if you see the little things while you're courting, while you're dating, don't venture into marriage.
Fair. Well, the time is now 9:50. I have to use this opportunity to sign out and say thank you for tuning in to Activated Mornings this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, Relisa and I, from 6 to 10. And tomorrow's interesting. Tomorrow's Cop Chat. We're going to have an interesting conversation with the cops.
I see Relisa.
No, I want it. I know what we're talking about. I know what we're talking about. You know what we're talking about?
Something copy.
Something copy. But yeah,
Maybe you guys will talk about traffic again tomorrow because there seems to be some developments.
yes,
in traffic.
and insurance and that's
I
an
think
interesting topic to be
they
had.
are now reinforcing some of the existing traffic laws, especially where minibuses are concerned. So maybe that's tomorrow's conversation. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, this
Anyway.
was Ari, and it's, usual. Put positivity out there if you want it in return. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we're gonna make way for community dateline, and then following community dateline, we'll have news in brief. You guys saying goodbye?
I should be back soon, so see you in
At like what, 10 o'clock?
yeah.
All
in
right.
10 minutes.
Okay, so this is Relisa signing out. So see you guys tomorrow and have a great and a safe one today.